Hi all, it's Nicola Lalev from ArchPro, and it is the fourth part of our GDL Bible. In this part I will show you how to use some simple commands to build 3D volumes, and we will create our first program. Let's first create an empty library part by going to File, Libraries and Objects, and New Object. As I showed you in part 1, this is one of the ways to create your GDL objects. Here we are, these are the parameters, and the scripts are empty as of now. We will create a table by using some simple commands, and I will show you different ways to do that. It will be a simple table. It will have, first I will show you how to name the parameters. It will have 4 legs and a table plot. It will be quite simple table. And also you will specify the overhang of the table plot. Let's name our parameters. First let's name parameter 1, which will be leg length and leg width. These are the two parameters. We will use ZZ, YZ, ZX for the height of the table, A for the total length, and B for the total width. I advise you to use these variables, which will make the object stretchy. If you use other variables, of course you can make it stretchy too in 3D, but it's harder. And now we will define the table plot. It is just defined by the A and B of the element, which will be the table plot A and B. And the legs will be inserted by using the inset in of the table plot by using the L_of variable. They are all lengths, and I'll type here the description. The description is what you will see when in Archicad. You will not see the name of the variable. In this case you will not see leg A, but you will see this description. I will type leg length, and the leg B will be leg width. I will use length for both of these variables. You have many variable types. I will discuss them in separate video because they're important, but for now let's use length type, and leg offset will be also the same type. Also we will use table material, tmat, which will be of type material, surface, table material. And we'll select wooden material. Of course the legs will be, let's say, 6 by 6 rectangle square shape, and leg offset from the side of the table will be 10 centimeters. All values here are in centimeters. And now let's first let's change the height, of course. Let's change to 45, or let's say 60. It doesn't matter. I want just to show you something, and let's make it 150 in length and 70 in width. 90. That's 150 by 90. And let's create our script. Let's go to 3D script. This we will keep, and by clicking on the window here we open the script in separate windows. First we type the author of the script and the description. Test GDL table for GDL Bible videos. And now we type the main section of our script as explained in the previous video, and we end that with the command end, and then we mark it. And below the end command are the subroutines. First subroutine will be to draw legs, and we will type go sub1 draw legs. It's comment draw legs, and below the end one return, and we will draw the legs. Second command will be draw table plot, and that's the command. Since the material is tmat, we'll use that by typing material tmat. Therefore, every command which creates an object after that material tmat will use the surface of defined in the tmat variable. Now let's create the second subroutine. And check. Of course, it's correct. We've created nothing for now. And we will use some basic commands now. First, as I said in the second part of our series, I encourage you to download this GDL reference guide. And here you can see the table of contents, of course. And in this video, we will be using some simple 3D commands, which are here, 3D shapes. We'll use block and brick. They do the same. Block and brick do a prismular object, prism in 3D, and it has length of A, width of B, and height of C. It's shown here, and we'll use that for the legs. First and most importantly, we have to move the cursor. When creating GDL objects, you will move the cursor, and wherever the cursor is, it will create your object. In this case, you can see the cursor is in one of the edges, and it uses the positive axis to add these values and build a block. In our case, the cursor will be on the bottom left side of our table plot. The x-axis will be to our right, and the y-axis will be the depth. Therefore, we have to move first the cursor to create our legs by using the leg offset variable, which will be 10 centimeters. We'll have to move it 10 centimeters to the right and 10 centimeters up for the first leg. And that's why I will use add command, which will move our cursor, and I type the value of along the x-axis, which will be 10 centimeters, and it is equal to L off again to the y-axis, and 0 to the z-axis. And I will add another variable, which will be TC, which will be table thickness, which will be the thickness of the table plot. It's quite simple. I will type 5, and now we will create our first leg. We will use, as mentioned here, the block command, and we will type the dimensions of the leg, which in this case are leg A and leg B, and the height of the leg, which will be the total height ZZ, YZ, X minus this table thickness variable. And let's go. Block leg A, leg B, and ZZ X minus table thickness. Now we will use the del command, which will remove our coordinate transformations. Coordinate transformations are three types. Add is used to move your coordinate system, the origin of it. Rot is used to rotate the axis, rotate the system based on certain axis. And move is used to scale the coordinate system based on a simple axis or all axis. Like 1, 1, 1 will do nothing because it just uses the same scale as before. But if I use 2, 1, 1, it means that every value assigned to the x-axis will be multiplied by 2. And whenever you use such commands like move, add and rot, you will have to delete them, and by deleting one, I delete this one coordinate transformation. And now we will move to the origin of the second leg. It is along the y-axis and along the x-axis again. We will add L off, and along the y-axis the whole width of the table b minus L off minus the leg width, and again do the same, del 1. Now we will move to the third leg, and again add along the x-axis a the whole length minus leg offset minus leg length, and now along the y-axis again paste del 1. This is our third leg, and the fourth leg will be along the x-axis, along the y-axis, and 0. Again paste del 1. This was our first subroutine, and check it for errors. It writes an uninitialized variable. In this case, let's see what I've used that is not initialized. It's very simple. I've used LA, which is supposed to be leg A. And here also. Let's check. The GDL script is okay. And let's see what we've created so far. 3D view. Here we are. We started here, as I said, in the bottom left corner. The x-axis is the length and the y-axis is the width. And it inserted our legs based on our L off distance, which is 10 centimeters. These two distances are 10 centimeters. First I moved it 10 centimeters along the x and 10 centimeters along y-axis. Then I moved it 10 centimeters along the x and the whole depth minus 10 minus the leg width, and so on. And now let's create our table plot using another command, which is, as I mentioned, the same, brick. Brick ABC. We will use the same brick command in our code, and now we will type in subroutine 2. First add z, which will add alongside z-axis, and the height z, y, z, x minus the table plot width, which is table C. And we'll use brick A, which is the length of the table plot, B, which is the width and the thickness, and again del 1. And that shall do it. Let's see. There you go. We have a simple table with legs offset 10 centimeters. What is the advantage of doing that in GDL instead of Archicad is that it's all controllable. Let's say we want to change the legs from 6 by 6 to 10 by 10, and they increased all at once. Let's say we want to want them to remain 6 by 6, but want to increase the leg offset. Let's say leg offset 20. There you go. They all go 10 centimeters to the core of the table. Let's say we want to change the table material. Let's say we want to use wood pine. Of course, it's alright. And that's how you create simple rectangular objects. Let's see if I can show you how to create simple cylindrical objects. I will use the same command, but first the same manual, but first I will show you the command. It's called Cylind, and it's quite simple. It uses the height of the cylinder and radius. And let's say we want to have rectangular legs. I will even add new variable, which is boolean, which means it can either be true or false. And I will type it leg shape. No, I will type leg rectangle. Rect. And leg, the description is leg rectangular, yes or no. And when it's off, there will be cylindrical, and when it's on, there will be rectangular. In this case, I will go to my first subroutine and type if leg rect, which is the variable, is 1, which means it's on, then, and as mentioned in the previous video, I will insert this because it will be done whenever my legs are, the legs of the table, no, not my legs, the legs of the table are rectangular. And I will type and if to end the conditional clause. It's quite simple construction. By using if a variable is a certain value, then you assign the condition, and if ends this conditional clause. And again, I will type if leg rect is 0, then, and we will do our cylindrical legs. Let's check the script and let's check in 3D. As you can see now, it created our rectangular legs, and if I make it off, the legs will disappear because here we haven't done anything yet. And now I will create the same legs, but using the cylinder. I copy all procedures from the rectangular legs, and I will just add along both axes leg A multiplied by 0.5, which is to get us to the center of the leg. I will use only the dimension leg A, which will be the diameter of the leg. And instead of block, I will use Cylind, the whole height, which is the same, ZZ, YZ, X, minus table thickness, and the radius will be leg A multiplied by 0.5. And let's copy that. Instead of blocks, we will use cylinders. And I will copy now leg A multiplied by 0.5 and use it everywhere else. Leg off plus this one, and here we will add it again, adding it, but yes, here also here, adding it here and adding it here. And that's about it. I expect it to be right, of course, and we will check it. As you can see, our legs are now cylindrical. And basically by changing this variable, I change the legs from cylindrical to prism. And to finish this tutorial, this part of our GDL Bible, I will create another variable which will be leg mat, which will be leg material. And this will be table plot material. Legs will be stainless steel, or let's say aluminum with or chrome. Let's make it more fancy. And if leg rect is 1, that means if they are cylindrical, we will use that material, which will be material leg mat. Also here we will assign material T-mat, which will be for the table, and here we will use material leg mat. And that's about it. It made our legs with chrome material and our table plot with wooden material. Thanks for watching. This was part 4 of our GDL Bible, in which I showed you how to create your first GDL program in 3D and how to use the commands block, brick and Cylind. And they helped us create a simple rectangular table. See you in our next part of our GDL Bible. It's Nicola Lalev from ArchPro signing off.